How's it going, YouTube? This is Tio Fuego. Long time no see, but I am back. It's springtime. The weather is beautiful out. It's time to do a little bit of a cleanup of the Honda Rebel 500, and we're installing a brand new Vance Hines slip-on exhaust. So stay tuned. Check it out. So everybody knows who has the Honda Rebel, the stock exhaust, kind of big and bulky, not exactly the most aesthetically pleasing of exhaust and mufflers, and the sound it's okay, nothing really to write home about, but just for reference, before I make this changeover, I'm going to play the sound of the stock exhaust with obviously no other engine or anything modifications done to the bike. Alright, so we got the bike back in the backyard for my usual upgrade spot, and I don't know if you can tell, but I just got it off the tarp for the winter, and she be dirty. She all dusty, sitting outside. So gonna give it a quick washing, a once over, and then we're going to install a brand new Vance Hines slip-on exhaust. Alright, now here's the box that the muffler comes in. Pretty nice compact box, actually not too heavy. So let's unbox it and see what we have to work with. Okay, so that's everything that comes as it's packaged inside the box. It comes with a couple of ring flanges, the mounting bracket, I believe some washers, you got the nuts and bolts. It does come with an installation instructions, which is a QR code, takes it right to the Vance Hines website. Obviously got the actual slip-on exhaust itself all wrapped up nice and tight. For those who want to know, when you do look up the installation QR code, it is going to ask you for the ID number of the part. In this case, for the Vance Hines slip-on exhaust for the Honda Rebel for 21, I believe it's 18 to 22, I believe is the year range. The number is 48421. So if you go to look it up, save you the trouble having to find it on the box to get that PDF for you. Another thing that is mentioned on the PDF instructions right off the bat is the tools that are required. So this is the list that they give as far as the tools that you will need to install the slip-on exhaust. There's a 12mm combination wrench, 4mm and 6mm Allen wrench, 12 and a 10mm socket, and a 3/8 drive ratchet. Okay, so the first step, as for the instructions, is to remove the front clamp of the stock exhaust. For that, we will use your 12mm socket wrench. It actually comes off relatively easy. Remember, this is just the clamp. So now the clamp is loose. I pulled it off so it doesn't scratch the front pipe, and I just have it hanging right now over the front, so it is right now disengaged from the muffler itself. I did also loosen and remove the bolt with a 5mm hex Allen key, just to remove the outer cover. I don't even think it's necessary, but I did it anyway. Okay, next step that we're going to be doing is removing the upper bracket that holds the stock exhaust. As you can see, that is going to be different, possibly if your bike, because obviously I put on the new one for the passenger side pedals. So we're going to be remove this bolt because that obviously attaches to the top of the muffler. Oh, and once again, using a 12mm socket. So now you can see, you can actually just give it a little pull off from it, and it does come loose from the upper bracket. Hey, the cover came off. Look at that. But what is good, you can see how it attaches to the front pipe, kind of wraps around it. So what we do now is just remove and pull the stock exhaust and time to install the new one. Ta-da! Now I did want to hop in for a quick size comparison. Obviously the new Vance Hines exhaust is still in its little wrapper, but I wanted just to show you the difference of size between the bulkiness of the stock exhaust and the much more thinner, compact, much more sleek design of the Vance Hines system. So far, so good. Okay, now before I install the new Vance Hines muffler, I do want to actually run the bike just for a couple of seconds without any muffler at all, just so we can hear the sound difference between stock exhaust, no exhaust, and the Vance Hines exhaust. Okay, so what we're going to be doing now is installing this backing plate with the screw that they provided. There is the little buffer on the outside and the lock nut on the rear. So that is going to be installed right on the bracket where the, well, now my rear foot pedals are. So that also insists that the muffler will sit underneath the foot pedals, so you don't have to worry about a passenger riding on the bike burning their feet on the exhaust. Now when the bracket is installed, it is going to be installed, as you can see how it has a curve to it, is with the curve, the flat part of the curve behind the opening, so it kind of tilts in towards the bike, if that makes sense. So we're going to have the outer little bracket buffer here with the bolt going through that, through the middle here, attaches to the back, and we have the locking nut on the back here. So I'm going to hand tighten this for now. And as the general rule, whenever you're doing any kind of installation of any kind of part, hand tighten first. Make sure everything kind of lines up properly, fits the way it's supposed to. There's nothing, no issues or anything going on with the parts. Because if you start tightening it down with a wrench or an Allen key, in this case, you run into the issue of, all right, if we have to uninstall everything, it's a lot harder to do. So hand tighten for now. Make sure everything is aligned, in place, and then tighten everything up later. Okay, and now it's time to unveil the new exhaust. One thing to notice, a high suggestion, especially for me, I have very oily and greasy fingers. When I'm touching my phone case, very greasy, very oily. Wear latex gloves or cloth gloves, something that will prevent you from getting fingerprints or anything on the exhaust as you install it, because if you get the fingerprints on there and then you run it, those prints actually come burned into like the outer coating of the exhaust. It doesn't look nice, but here we are. Beautiful Vance Hines. I like the blacked out imagery. The nameplate, it really goes in well with the blacked out everything on the Honda Rebel. So this is perfect. It's going to look super awesome. As you can see, it'll slide right in under there, attached to the bracket, and I think it's going to look sick. So first thing we're going to do is to place this on the padding. Don't want to dirty it. I'm going to tentatively have the new clasp on the header pipe. Guess what? Sits there, so it's on there, and let's line up and install the exhaust. What we're going to do is slip it onto the header pipe here, so it's nice and snug, and then align on the back here. You see the two screw holes, which line up with the screw holes on the mount, and we have the two little screws with the Allen key that will attach the muffler to the bracket. Okay, so took a little bit of finagling, a lot of twisting to really shimmy it down the pipe here to get it on there. But if you turn it, you can see it does line up nicely with the bracket. Now, one thing I will show you, and I'm going to pull the camera over here to show you here, there is a large gap between the bracket and the muffler itself. However, it is pretty flexible. So I think I'll be able to close the gap with the screws to get them closer together, and there won't be any issues. So let's try that out and see how it all works out. And these screws will attach with the 4mm Allen. Okay, so there we have it. I was able to get those screws on there. Took a little bit of finagling to get it done, but they did get attached on there. The issue, I think, just because of the fact that I have the aftermarket foot pedals, foot peg bracket. If it was the standard one from Honda or maybe a different bracket, it might have installed a little bit simpler, but a little bit of finagling and moving it around, and I was able to attach it with a little bit of elbow grease, but not really much of an issue. Okay, now that the exhaust is fully secure on the rear bracket, we're going to tighten up the front clamp now. And the new clamp from Vance Hines will use the 10mm socket wrench to use. So make sure you're over the actual exhaust and tighten it up. And as it starts to get tighter where it's not flopping all over the place, just move it so it's now being attached underneath, so you don't have the bolt just sticking out the side. This helps it make it a little bit more, a little clean. Okay, so I think we're done. And even though it did wear the gloves while doing the install, I do want to do another quick wipe down with a nice clean towel. Try to eliminate as much dirt, markings of any kind, fingerprints, stuff of that nature, because once again, once you start it up and it heats up, that will become like a permanent stain on the ceramic coating of the exhaust. Okay, and without further ado, here's the maiden ignition of the Honda Rebel 500 with the brand new Vance Hines slip-on exhaust. She rumbles now. All right, so there you have it. There is the install video of my Vance Hines exhaust on my 21 Honda Rebel 500. I hope the video helps if you're looking to do the installation yourself. Really not that difficult. A little bit of extra work if you have some already aftermarket parts installed onto the bike, but for reality, it's really not that complicated at all. So I do hope you enjoy the video. If you do, please like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Now that the weather is nicer, I am going to try to get out on the road a little bit more. I do have some ideas of where I would like to go with the bike, so hopefully get some more videos out there posted for you. But until next time, thank you so much for watching. This is Tio Fuego. Be well.